Hi guys, welcome to another video. So a lot of buzz around the latest CLI tools which are being released. So basically they're taking over your terminal and reading the whole code repository, creating files, creating codes. Like it's the next level of windsurf and AI cursor. That's what everyone's saying on the internet. And Cloud Code was pretty famous with the developers, and now Google Gemini have released Gemini CLI. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can install the Gemini CLI, and then we will be using some tools and MCP tools to see how it actually works. So this is a demonstration video of how you can use Gemini CLI. So let's get into the screen. And before we do that, please subscribe to this channel, because if you want to watch more videos like this, please motivate me to create more videos by subscribing this channel. It's completely free. So hit that. Okay, let's go. So this is the Node.js which you need to install before installing the Gemini CLI. So make sure you install that after installing the Gemini CLI based on your operating system. If you have Mac, Windows, Linux, or whatever operating system you have, make sure to install that. And once you install that, just Google Gemini CLI and you'll be able to find this GitHub repo which is on the top. So it is an open source AI agent that brings the power of Gemini directly into your terminal, right? So you were supposed to go to Gemini CLI and give queries about your code, share the code, and then answers about that code. But after this AI agent, which is directly integrated with your CLI, it is going to read all of the code base and do the errors for you, create the pull request, create a lot of stuff on its own. So that's what it does. That's what it claims it does. That's how it's going to look like once we install that. And in order to install that, again, first do the Node.js version 20 or higher, install on your PC, and then run this command on your terminal. And that's what we're going to do in our terminal. So that's our terminal. I'm simply going to copy this command and paste this command here. And here we go. Our Gemini CLI is ready to rule. So that's how it looks. I'm going to expand it so you guys can see clearly. Perfect. And now let's check out the commands which we'll be getting after installing the Google Gemini CLI. So I'm just going to type in /, and once you type in /, you can see all of these commands showing up here, right, that we can add. And let's go to help to see the complete list of the commands. So I'm going to press enter, and here's the list of complete commands which you'll be getting after installing the Gemini CLI. And this is for clearing the screen. This is the help which we are currently using. This is for memory. This is for changing the theme. Changing theme meaning you will be able to change the colors which are showing up in the fonts, right? And this is for the docs. And here we have MCP, which we will configure. And this is for the tools which we have available. And the exclamation mark is for the shell command, right? And these are the keyboard shortcuts. Enter, Control J for new line, up, down, and then Control C if we want to quit the application, right? So that's how easy it is to install Gemini CLI. Now I'm gonna add that on my Visual Studio Code and try to read a GitHub repository which I created as a Shopify app. So I have created a Shopify app which is still incomplete, unfortunately, because I didn't have enough time to fix that. Basically, I was trying to create a Shopify menu manager which will automatically import and export from one store to another store. That was a Shopify app which I created last month using AI tools, but I wasn't able to finish it. There were some bugs which I need to fix, but I couldn't fix it due to some other requests which we received from you guys about creating other tutorials. So we are focusing on that. But with the Gemini CLI and VS Code, I'm gonna read this repo and ask the Google Gemini CLI to read this repo and see what it says. Okay guys, I'm gonna clone this repository and I have my VS Code running. So here's my VS Code and I am going to open a terminal. So let's open up the terminal, and here I am going to basically clone the repo by this clone command. So here is the clone, copy, and then paste it to my VS Code. Oops. There we go. Okay, it is copying all of the data, and here we have Shopify menu manager cloned. Now I am going to run my Gemini CLI within the VS Code. In order to do so, I am going to go back to the Gemini CLI repository and run this command again. So hit copy here and then paste this and then hit enter. Perfect. My Gemini CLI is now running within the VS Code. Okay, now let's add art. And here you can see that it's now automatically showing Shopify menu manager. I'm going to hit tab and it is showing up all of the files, right? And now I am going to give it command that please analyze this repository and tell me the code stack, database, and all information you can find after reading all of the code. So here we have 100% context left. Gemini 2.5 Pro have 1 million tokens, and I think it's a small repository and it can read all of the data within the files of this repository. So let's see what it says. And we have the limit of 100 requests per day. So I don't think we will be exceeding a free tier. And let's do that and see what it does. Okay, here we have all of the information. So based on the analysis of the repository files, here is the summary of the project. This is a Shopify app built to manage navigation menus for a Shopify store. Its core features are duplicate menu. So it is copying an existing menu to an export menu and import menu, technology stack, framework, remix, a full stack web project for React. Language is JavaScript, front end React, Shopify, backend has logic is handled by remix loaders and actions running on Node servers. Okay, it has pulled all of the correct information about this repository. Cool. Okay, now we saw how the CLI already works, and we can now just give it a command and make the code changes directly within our terminal using VS Code, or if we want to use the default terminal, we can do that as well. Now let's see if we have any MCP server configured already. So I am gonna type in /MCP and hit enter. No MCP server configured, opening documentation in your browser. So that is opening up the documentation to show us how we can basically set up our MCP server. Okay, now let's configure the MCP server in our Gemini CLI, and we will be adding context 7. So that is an MCP server, which is for code documentation and AI code editor. So it is basically going to pull up-to-date version-specific documentation and code examples straight from the source and places them directly into your prompt. And that's how it is going to work. Now we will add this to our Gemini CLI as an MCP. So let's do that. I'm going to open the terminal. So where's my terminal? There's my terminal. I am going to quit my Gemini CLI and then cd to Gemini. Okay, no such file. Sorry. So it was cd and .gemini. I'm already in that directory. I'm just adding the command to show you guys how it's going to work. So you will add this command cd Gemini and then hit enter. And once you in the .gemini command, now you will need to do is open up Nano and open settings.json file. So Nano is an editor which will edit our settings.json file. Now hit enter, and here we will add another object for MCP. Now in order to add context 7, I'm going to scroll down, and here we have the option to install in Gemini CLI. Here you can see that we have this detail here. So I'm going to copy this MCP server object and copy this part here and then paste it after this OAuth personal. So I am going to add a comma after this line and add another object for MCP. So add a comma, paste the code, and then exit the file by pressing Ctrl X and then hit Y and then hit enter. Perfect. Now I am going to open my Gemini CLI again by the same command which we used before from the GitHub repository and hit enter. Okay. And you can see that now we have this one MCP server. If I press /MCP and hit enter, you can see that we have our MCP configured. We can do that in VS Code as well. So if we open up the VS Code, quit and restart it, it is going to show our MCP server. Here we go. You can see that we have our using one MCP server /MCP. It is going to show our MCP server contact 7. And that's it for the video, guys. In this video, you learned how to install Gemini CLI and install MCP server within Gemini CLI. Until next video, have a great day.